Good day, Junior Techies. Welcome to this video where we're going to be looking at extra exam preparation questions. This is part of the Meiosis section. I do thank you for joining me, and hopefully we can get you prepared for your final exams without any hiccups. Right, so the question that we're looking at here is a question 7. So this was taken out of a past paper. So we can see we get 3 images, and I'm going to say this to you right now, that I think the best way to answer questions that have a bit of context and an image attached to them is to first get that context under controls for yourself. So have a look, read through what's been given to you, look at the diagrams, don't look at the questions first, and then see if you can make heads or tails of it before you even look at the questions. Right, so for question 7 over here, the diagram represents a chromosome in a female human cell, in this case an ovum, and we have cells A, B, and C. So it shows us different events that are taking place during meiosis, but that are not necessarily in the same sequence. So here, what we can do is we can have a look at what exactly this sequence is telling us. So looking at A, B, and C, we can see that the bivalent chromosomes over here, present in diagram C, have not undergone crossing over yet, because there's been no exchange of genetic material. If we look at the colors, then diagram B shows us that we do have that crossing over, or that figurative high-fiving between these bivalent chromosomes to exchange that genetic material. And then we have diagram A that shows that this is actually exchanged between the chromosomes. So I've put an order that I suspect that you've come to the same conclusion in, as diagram C being the first, B the second, and A is the third in the sequence of occurrences. So we haven't seen the actual questions yet, so we're still making sense. So just having a look at these diagrams, I'm confident now that I know what's going on here. So I can see what's happening. I know that this is a female human cell in ovum. I know that these are events that are taking place during meiosis, and I've sort of put together a sequence because the question tells me they're not necessarily in a sequence. So I've had a look at the sequence specifically, and I've put down on paper in my question the sequence that I suspect is taking place over here. All right, so let's have a look at what we're going to look at next. So it says to us here, how many pairs of chromosomes occur in a normal human cell? So normal human cell, so what we were looking at the top there was a human ovum, so showing only one bivalent pair of chromosomes. So now the question says, how many pairs would be in a normal human cell? So this is a pretty straightforward 23 pairs. So we should know this already from our grade 10 work when it came to mitosis. So our 23 pairs, the answer to 7.1. Now it asks us to give labels for structure X, and that's our centromere. Then we get the question 7.2b, area Y. So this is pointing now to what we see as being the crossing over, or the area of crossing over there. So we say that area Y is our chiasma. Okay, so that's where we've got the exchange of genetic material, and chiasma would be the answer there. Now some might write chiasmata, that's fine. I believe that your examiner will accept both of those. 7.3, name the organ in the female, or the human female, where meiosis occurs. We've got the ovary. So this is meiosis taking place inside of those follicles, inside of the ovary. We've studied through human reproduction, so we know the process. So inside of the ovary, because it speaks of the organ, okay? So the ovary being that gland as part of the female reproductive system. Name the process occurring in diagram B. So now we're looking at that exchange of genetic material. So we're talking about crossing over. Okay, crossing over, that very, very important process that you will get many questions on in your final exam. You'll definitely get asked about crossing over. So make sure you know this process, when it happens and why it happens during meiosis. 7.4b, the phase represented by the diagrams above. So where does crossing over actually take place? In which phase of meiosis? Now remember, it is meiosis. we've got two processes here. We've got meiosis 1 as part of meiosis and meiosis 2 as part of meiosis. So this part, or this particular phase, is part of meiosis 1, and it is prophase. But we have to write prophase 1, okay, because there is a prophase as part of meiosis 2 as well. And what we don't want is we don't want to be vague, because then our examiner will not give us the marks that we deserve here. Okay, 7.4c, type of cells that would result from meiosis of this cell. So the process of meiosis results in unique cells, each with unique genetic material, and we refer to these cells as our, or these sex cells as our gametes. Okay, so that's the word that we're looking for there. Name the type of cell that would result, and these are gametes, or sex cells for that matter. So you might get a mark for simply writing sex cells, but the more correct term here I would refer to as gametes. 7.5, arrange the letters A, B, and C to show the correct sequence of events. Now, we did this already when we were talking about the context of this question, so we already have answered this question, so it's simply writing down what we refer to here as the sequence of 3, 2, 1 from A, B to C, but the sequence starts at 1, so my sequence in terms of the letters, like the question asks me, C, B, and A. All right, Junior Techie, so I hope that we've enjoyed doing this question, getting a little bit of insight, but more importantly, trying to get context when answering a question. Many problems that I find the grade 12s have when it comes to answering questions is they don't get the correct context of the question first before trying to answer it, and that is what costs them the marks. So read through your context, analyze your context, have some good exam technique there, and then approach your questions. Then you will be successful. Okay, do hope that you join me for some future videos. Thanks for joining me for this one. I'm Mr. P. Do hope to see you again.